Hey, what's going on, guys? gdoggcasey here, and it is time for another update video. This update video is going to be for the month of November coming up, and there's a few things I wanted to talk about during this video and hopefully get some feedback from you guys. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I usually lead off with is how the channel did in the last month. And honestly, I'm very happy once again. In the last 28 days, according to my YouTube dashboard, we have gained 30 subs, which is down by like 6 or 7 from the month before, but I had like a week and a half off where I wasn't releasing any videos at all. So as far as I'm concerned, it's right on par. And of course, any month that we gain in subs, whether it's 30 or whether it's 10 or whether it's even less than that, I'm happy that we're at least growing. So honestly, very good news there. I was expecting it to be a little bit less, but we're still climbing at a relatively steady pace, and that's really exciting. At this pace, we'll be hitting 500 subs within the next month and a half. So that's really cool, and I'm really, really excited about that. Because finally, it feels like progress. You know, even with the fact that I took about a week and a half off, we're still making progress. And imagine how much better it'll be when we actually go back hard to releasing videos almost every day. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And the next topic is going to be the fact that during the last month, I got married. And some of you already know that because I mentioned it in a couple other videos. I tend to do that, I find. I do a lot of repeating myself because I'm like, well, I don't know if the person's watching, like, has watched all the videos. I don't know if you've seen, you know, if you're just watching the tanking videos or if you're just watching a Let's Play. So I try to, like, repeat it, and then I just feel like I'm always repeating myself. So if I come across that way, I'm really sorry. If it's particularly annoying, let me know. No one said anything yet, though, so, you know, I guess I'll keep going on. But yeah, I got married this month. Very, very exciting. It was pretty much like my number one goal in life was to get married to somebody who I know it's going to last. And that's definitely the case here. It was a small wedding. It had 3 of my closest friends as well as about 5 or 6 people from Jane's family. And it was really nice. Did it at a town hall and then went out for a big dinner at a nearby fancy sort of restaurant. And it was really good. So, you know, now that that's done and we've got it all taken care of, literally everything went without a hitch. There was like one small hitch and it lasted about a day and then we fixed it. So pretty awesome stuff there. And, you know, now that that's done, it's going to be much easier to focus on the YouTube channel a little bit more and be able to, you know, start committing to other things because now I don't have, you know, like the biggest event of my life, basically, you know, having me spend a lot of extra time doing other things. So that's awesome. You know, everything went great. And married life, honestly, in my specific case, I don't know if it's rude to say this. I really don't mean it in a rude way. I don't think it's rude either, but life like hasn't changed at all because Jane and I already lived that way anyway. You know, we clicked very early in the relationship. She moved in about a year after, and life has basically just been married life since we moved in together anyway. So now it's official. I got a sweet new wedding ring that I can show off, and you know, other than that though, it's been pretty much the same. So that's why the wedding was so good because, you know, it's we were already living that way anyway. So okay, so let's talk a little bit about Final Fantasy XIV, specifically the Let's Play series. I mentioned again in a couple of the videos that the story was really starting to get on my nerves for a little bit, just because of all the monotony of this gigantic quest chain. Just drove me crazy. If you're playing the game and you're just skipping the story, you're not reading anything, it's not really going to affect you because you're just doing fetch quests and you're killing a few enemies and you're running from place to place just like you are during the rest of the game. But when you're actually like focusing on the story and you're realizing how ridiculous this whole situation is, it was a little bit tough for me to make it through that. But that said, we did make it through that particular quest chain, and the story is really starting to heat up now. And you know, the MMOs, they're gonna take a long time for the story to heat up because they want you to play hundreds and hundreds of hours. So, you know, this is something that even though I knew about it subconsciously, I didn't really I didn't really know what to expect when doing the Let's Play. So it's going to be something that is going to happen, you know? And with the end goal of having the entire story documented in a nice, like, however many 100 video playlist is still the dream that I have, and I'm still working towards that. So this type of thing is just going to be part of it. And I have to realize that whenever I'm doing these quests that just seem ridiculous. But, you know, besides that, the story really did take a turn and starts to hit you in the feels a little bit. You know, if you know these characters and if you kind of care about them, then there's lots of things that are going to be happening. And again, once I hit level 50, actually probably even before that, there was a time when I just started skipping the story. My first time through, I was reading it, and then it was before I started like actually recording the Let's Play, but I ended up just sort of skipping everything because I wanted to get to the end game stuff. So there's still going to be a lot of the story that's going to be surprising to me once we get there. And some things where I have minor spoilers because I've seen a specific NPC standing, even though I thought something else had happened to him. You know, and that kind of thing is just unavoidable, but you know, I skipped the entire delivery of it, so I'm really looking forward to experiencing that, and we're going to keep doing that. Episode 50 is going to be coming out pretty soon, probably the day after I release this video, so, you know, we're 50 episodes deep now. We just got to go 50 more, and then 50 more, and eventually we'll get to the end. But yeah, like, it's something that I'm going to start enjoying more because the story is going to actually start becoming more meaningful. As we level up, the world does start to realize that, you know, you are someone who is a little bit above, you know, running and collecting ingredients for a feast that you didn't even want. So, yeah. So, anyway, it's going to start getting better. The next thing I want to talk about is the tanking series. Now that I have finally finished the, you know, all of the pre-level 50 dungeons, I'm going to start moving into the level 50 dungeons and the hard mode dungeons. And I don't really know... I'm still conflicted about what order I'm going to do these dungeons in. I don't even think it's really important. But, you know, I like to have some structure there. So I'm going to take a look. I'll do a little bit of research on whether or not there's a particular order. Maybe I can find the dungeons sorted by required item level. That's kind of what I'm thinking, at least initially. Because once you hit level 50 in the game, and we'll see this with Wee Guy, and I'm going to have to go through this with Wee Guy, and I'm... You know, not that I'm not looking forward to it, but it's a heavy grind that actually, you know, ended up forcing me to take a break from the game the first time I had to go through it with Creechador. So, you know, this time, though, I know it's coming, so I will adjust. But when you hit level 50, you start unlocking, like, all these quests, like 9 to 12 or something like that. Like, maybe even some more that have you running around the world, unlocking the hard mode dungeons, and I believe then you have to complete them. So... that's like 12 dungeons that you got to get through. As a DPS, it's going to be kind of tough, but you know, it's something that's going to happen. So that being said, there's no particular order in which you unlock them because you can just pick up all the quests and then just based on wherever you go to unlock them first, that's the order. So it's not set by the game. So I will take a look and see, you know, maybe there's a specific item level. Maybe there is just an order that Square Enix has released, or even if some other website releases an order that I like, I'll just follow that order. Again, I'm probably thinking too heavily about it, but it's just what goes through my mind, and I'm trying to think of how to optimize it. Now, another thing that goes along with hitting level 50 on the Paladin, or sorry, not the Paladin, but on the tanking series and doing the level 50 dungeons, means that I want to start having a second dungeon series going along beside it, so that you're not seeing only tanking. I have had plenty of requests for doing a healer series as well. And while healing doesn't come as natural to me, I still think that I'm an okay healer. And I'm getting better the more I do it. So, the next series that I'm going to be releasing very shortly, I don't have the video recorded yet, but I'm hoping to do the same thing like once a week for the tanking series and once a week for the healing series. It is going to be the Astrologian. Astrologian is my highest level healer, and I'm just going to be starting with that because I was excited once I finally hit the Heavensward content in the story. I unlocked the Astrologian, and I just had a lot of fun with it, so we're going to be doing that. It's very important to realize that These series, it started out as a guide series, and again, I've mentioned this before, but some of you people might still take it as a guide because maybe you're trying to learn how to heal and you'll watch someone who knows, quote unquote, knows how to heal, and you can learn something from watching. So that's fine. If you take it like that, that's perfect. I'm happy. But also, if you're better than me and you're watching it and you want to give me some tips in the comments, I'm totally happy with that as well. And even if you just like watching a healer go through a dungeon, whether they're particularly good or not, it's something that you might find enjoyable. So we're going to definitely get started on that. And you'll be seeing those videos coming out relatively soon. Hopefully by the end of next week. What is even the date right now? It's Saturday. So by next Saturday, I'm hoping that we'll at least have episode 1 out and be able to continue with that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, one more thing. Well, there's a couple more things I wanted to address, but during that break, that the week and a half that I took off, I found myself just playing other games. We were playing, like Jane and I decided to take a bit of a break from Final Fantasy because it was heavily, it was taking up a lot of time. And that's okay, but we just wanted to try some other things. Not only that, but Starcraft 2 released a big patch that I specifically have been waiting for pretty much years. So that actually brings up another point here. I still I've continually been playing tons and tons of Starcraft 2. I've been streaming relatively often on my Twitch stream for Starcraft 2. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about Starcraft 2? Because for me, I love Final Fantasy because it's sort of like my casual, unless you're doing extremes, it's a laid-back game that I can play and there's no pressure pretty much ever. But I have a competitive itch that forces me to be playing competitive online multiplayer games as well. And I always come back to StarCraft 2. So it's something that it gets in the way of me being productive in other things because I'm like, I just really want to play StarCraft 2. So I want to know what you guys think if I were to start trickling in StarCraft 2 videos. I don't exactly know how I would do it. But sometimes I get the itch to cast other replays, and I was thinking about maybe doing something like that. Again, I've done it in the past, and if you look back in my channel history, you can find some of those videos to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I also have released videos where I'm just playing a ladder game, and you guys are just watching me play the ladder game. Those videos did okay, but they don't do as well as the Final Fantasy ones. The other thing I'm thinking about is because I've been streaming so heavily, I can always sort of cherry pick the games that I want to bring over to YouTube, where, maybe I do a session where I'm streaming for 3 hours and there was a couple games that really stood out. I can highlight those out and upload them to YouTube, and you guys can check them out. Right now I'm thinking that's the way I'm going to initially approach it, unless I get a ton of comments saying, no, screw the StarCraft 2, I don't ever want to see it. Even still, I might still end up uploading 1 or 2 because I just like doing that. But yeah, it's something I spent a lot of my time on beside Final Fantasy 14. So I feel like I need to bring it into the channel at least a little bit. And for those of you who might be interested in watching the stream, I stream at erratic times because I'm awful. I can't commit to a schedule. I tried committing to a schedule, and it just felt too much like a stressful work-related thing. At the moment, because I'm also working full-time, it was very hard to constantly be always doing something, and sometimes you just want to relax, you know what I mean? So right now I'm not committing to a specific streaming schedule, but it does tend to be later at night, and it does tend to be for a couple hours at a time. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can always follow my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/gdoggcasey. And, occasionally you'll see me on there playing StarCraft 2 and sometimes other games. Another game we have been playing, which you're seeing clips in the background, is Smite. And that's something that I'm taking at a very casual pace because MOBAs, man, when you start to get hardcore, it just starts to trigger, for me anyway, I do not... How do I word this? I don't really like team games where the win or loss relies on a teammate who decided to insta-lock a champ without asking anybody else, goes into the game, goes 0-10, and then rage quits the game. And now you're at an inherent disadvantage, and there's just nothing you can do about it. There's a whole conversation about that. People will come and say, yeah, well, if you're good enough, you can still carry the game. And I mean, sometimes that happens, but whatever. You know what I'm saying. I don't like that the enjoyment of the game relies on other people. So I'm taking it at a casual pace, and that's about all I can really say about that. I'm not really expecting to release videos about it, but it's been a lot of fun to play with Jane and Detner. So that's another game that has been taking up some time. But yeah, just to bring it back around to StarCraft 2, I really want to know what you guys think. And I urge you to give it a chance. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of competitive gameplay, in my opinion, there's nothing better than StarCraft 2 for it. StarCraft 2 gives you that opportunity to win the game every single time, no matter who you're playing against. And if you lose, it's 100% your fault. You can say what you want about certain balance issues, but typically, unless you're at the very top level, if you lose a game, it's your fault. And if you win a game, it's your fault. And there's just nothing more satisfying than that, in my opinion. So this video is getting a little bit long, so I apologize for that, but I do appreciate you guys taking the time to hear me out. Again, any other feedback for something I have not touched on, definitely, like I always say, these are the videos for that. Leave all your comments in the comment section below. I read them all. I try to respond to them as often as possible. And I'm going to be interested in what you guys have to say about this. So lastly, just before I let you guys go, however you say it, I need to let you guys know to follow me on Twitter as well, where you can get upload updates whenever I upload a video or release one to make it public. My Twitter will let you know automatically, as well as making some random comments from time to time. When I'm expecting to upload a video, if something comes up, then you'll see comments about it on there. Or if I'm going to be releasing something special or whatever, you'll see it on there as well. So that said, thank you very much, guys. Again, I'm super stoked that the channel is still growing, and we're going to get somewhere eventually at this pace. So just going to keep going, and again, I appreciate all your views and all your support, and I'll see you guys later.